You're listening to Speak English with Chat.
On Chat English. Welcome back to Chat English, where we learn the English people actually speak, not just what is in the textbooks. The most dangerous word in English isn't a curse word, and it isn't a grammar mistake. It is the word yes. Imagine this. It is Friday, 4:55 p.m. You have your bag packed. You are ready for the weekend. Suddenly, a message pops up on your screen from a coworker. Hey, can you just fix this one side? It will only take an hour. Your heart starts pounding. You want to scream no, but your fingers type, sure, no problem.
Oh, I know that feeling intimately. I used to be a chronic people pleaser in my first job. I would ruin my entire weekend, canceling plans with friends just because I was too terrified to look rude or unhelpful.
Today, we are going to fix that. By the end of this episode, you will have 3 copy-paste scripts to say no politely, so you can keep your job, keep your friends, and keep your sanity.
This is such an important topic because honestly, the word no feels incredibly heavy when you are speaking a second language.
It really does. When you are learning English, you spend so much time learning how to be polite, how to agree, and how to be helpful. Saying no feels like you are breaking the rules.
Exactly. You feel like if you refuse, you are failing. Or worse, you worry that you will sound aggressive.
That is the big fear, isn't it? Sounding rude. Because in many cultures, directness is fine. But in English-speaking cultures, especially in the UK or parts of the US, we are obsessed with indirectness.
We really are. We hate direct conflict. If you just look at someone and say no, it feels like a slap in the face.
It does. If I asked you, Dan, can you help me move house on Saturday? And you just said no, I would probably think you were angry with me.
Right, even though I am just answering the question.
So native speakers use what we call the soft no. We wrap the refusal in softness. We use extra words to cushion the blow.
It is like a sandwich, a nice soft bread of politeness with the hard no meat in the middle and then more polite bread on the bottom.
I love that image, the rejection sandwich. And today we are going to build 3 different sandwiches, one for work, one for social life, and one for when people just won't listen.
Let's start with the work one because that Friday 4:55 p.m. scenario gave me a flashback. I actually started sweating a little bit.
It is a classic nightmare. So let's look at why we say yes in that moment. Usually we say yes because we don't have the vocabulary to explain why we can't do it.
Right. We usually default to saying, I am too busy.
And here's a secret. I am too busy is actually not a great thing to say in a professional setting.
Really? I feel like I hear that all the time.
You do, but think about how it sounds to a boss. If you say, I am too busy, it sounds like a complaint, or it sounds like you are overwhelmed and can't manage your time.
That is a really good point. It sounds subjective, like I am stressed.
Exactly. We want to sound objective. We want to sound like professionals who manage resources. So we are going to swap I am busy for a much more powerful phrase. I am at capacity.
I am at capacity. Ooh, I like that. It sounds very technical.
It is. Think about a factory or a machine. If a machine is at 100% capacity, it literally cannot accept more work without breaking. It isn't an emotional complaint. It is a fact.
So it removes the emotion from the refusal. You aren't saying, I don't want to help you. You are saying, the machine is full.
Precisely. So let's go back to that 4:55 p.m. request. Your coworker says, can you fix this slide? Instead of saying, no, I'm busy, try this script. Listen closely. I would love to help, but I am at capacity right now.
That sounds so much better. I would love to help, but I am at capacity right now.
Notice the grammar there. I didn't say I want to help. I said I would love to help.
That is that modal verb again, would. It creates a hypothetical situation.
Yes, it means in a perfect world where I had time, I would help. But in this real world, I can't. It's a very gentle way to start a sentence.
It signals to the other person that you are on their team. You aren't rejecting them, you are just rejecting the task.
Exactly. Let's try another variation of this, because sometimes at capacity feels a bit too formal for a close colleague.
Yeah, what if it's just your deskmate asking?
Then we can use the word bandwidth.
Bandwidth, like internet speed?
Exactly like internet speed. Humans only have a certain amount of mental bandwidth per day.
I think my bandwidth is usually gone by about 2 p.m.
Same here. So the phrase is, I don't have the bandwidth for that this week.
I don't have the bandwidth.
It implies that if you took on this task, the quality of your other work would suffer.
Right. It is actually a responsible thing to say. A bad employee says yes to everything and then delivers bad work. A good employee protects their bandwidth so they can do a good job.
That is such a mindset shift. Saying no is actually professional.
It is the most professional thing you can do. So let's practice this. I want everyone listening to try this. I am going to be your pushy boss. I'm going to ask you to do something unreasonable. I want you to say the capacity script out loud. Ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Hey, I know it's late, but can you just rewrite this report for me by Monday morning?
I would love to help, but I am at capacity right now.
Perfect. How did that feel?
It felt safe. It felt like a shield. I didn't have to make up an excuse about my grandmother visiting or my dog being sick.
And that is the key.
You don't need to over-explain. I am at capacity is a complete sentence. You don't need to add, because I have to do laundry and sleep.
Stop over-explaining. That is a hard habit to break. I feel like when I am uncomfortable, I just keep talking.
We all do. It is called the guilt ramble. You say no, and then you talk for 5 minutes to apologize for it.
The guilt ramble. I have definitely done that. I can't because I have to go to the store and then my car makes a noise and I need to cook dinner.
And the more you explain, the weaker your no sounds. It sounds like you are asking for permission to say no.
Wow, that hits home. When you over-explain, you are asking for permission to have boundaries.
But you don't need permission. You just need clear language. So, I am at capacity, or I don't have the bandwidth. Those are your work shields.
Okay, so that handles the office. But what about friends? Because I feel like it is even harder with friends. You can't really tell your best friend, I am at capacity, when they ask you to get a drink.
No, you definitely can't. You would sound like a robot. I am sorry, friend. My bandwidth is low.
They would probably stop being your friend.
So for social situations, we need a different tool. We need the rain check.
A rain check. Now, this is a weird idiom if you stop and think about it. What does rain have to do with dinner?
It comes from baseball, actually. In America, if a baseball game was canceled because of rain, the spectators got a ticket to come back and watch a game another day. That ticket was a rain check.
Ah, so it means not now, but later.
Exactly. And it is the perfect soft no, because it rejects the time, not the person.
That is the fear, isn't it? If I say no to dinner, my friend thinks I don't like them.
Right. So if you say, can I take a rain check? You are effectively saying, I really do want to see you, just not tonight.
It is very optimistic. It promises a future yes.
So here is a good script for when you are just tired and want to stay home. Your friend asks, do you want to grab drinks tonight?
And you say, I'd love to, but I'm exhausted. Can I take a rain check?
Simple, friendly, honest.
What if you don't actually want to reschedule? What if you just don't want to go to that specific event?
Ah, the hard no dressed up as a soft no.
Yeah, like if someone invites you to help them paint their house on Saturday. You don't want to take a rain check on that. You never want to do that.
In that case, we need the sandwich again, but without the promise of later. We usually start with gratitude.
Gratitude for asking me to paint a house?
Gratitude for the invite. It is nice to be asked. So you say, thanks for thinking of me. I can't make it this weekend, but I hope it goes well.
Thanks for thinking of me. That is a nice opener. It makes the other person feel good before you drop the hammer.
Exactly. And notice I used I can't make it. I didn't say I don't want to.
I can't make it is the ultimate social excuse. It is vague enough that nobody questions it. It implies you have other plans, but those plans could just be sitting on your sofa in your pajamas.
Plans with your sofa are still plans, Dan.
That is true. I have a standing appointment with Netflix every Friday.
So let's recap the social scripts. If you want to reschedule, use, can I take a rain check?
And if you just want to say no, use, thanks for asking, but I can't make it this time.
Before we move on to the really difficult people, the ones who don't listen, I want to mention something about tone.
Yes, tone is everything. You can have the perfect words, but if you say them angrily, it is still rude.
Or if you say them too sadly. A lot of learners say no like this. I am so sorry. I really can't. Oh my God, I feel terrible.
Yeah, that makes it awkward for everyone.
You want a tone that is firm but warm. We call it the falling rising intonation.
Can you demonstrate that?
Sure. Listen to the melody. I'd love to help, but I can't. It goes down, then up a little at the end. It sounds light.
It sounds breezy, like it is no big deal.
Because it isn't a big deal. You are allowed to say no.
You know, if you are enjoying these scripts and you want to build a whole toolkit of natural phrases like this, you should definitely subscribe to the channel. We release new conversation breakdowns every week that help you sound like a human, not a textbook.
Yes, hit that subscribe button if you want to stop sounding like a robot.
Okay, Alice, we have the work no, we have the social no, but we all have that one person in our lives who doesn't take no for an answer.
The pusher.
The pusher. You say,
I am at capacity. And they say, oh, come on, it will only take 5 minutes, please, for me.
This is where most people crumble. They gave their soft no. It didn't work, so they panic and say yes.
I used to do this all the time. I would hold the line for the first request, but if they pushed back, I would fold immediately.
So for the pusher, we need a technique called the broken record.
Like an old vinyl record that gets stuck and repeats the same part of the song over and over?
Exactly. The secret to dealing with pushy people is do not change your argument. If you give them a new reason, they will argue with that new reason.
Oh, that is so true. If I say, I can't, I have to clean my house, they say, clean it tomorrow.
Right. You gave them a problem they could solve. So instead, you just repeat your original boundary, using slightly different words, but the same meaning.
So if I say, I am at capacity, and they say, please, just 5 minutes, what do I do?
You say, I hear you, but I really just don't have the bandwidth right now.
You just repeated the same thing.
And if they ask again,
I promise I will make it up to you. You say, I wish I could, but I just can't fit it in.
you stay on the same spot. You don't move. Eventually, they will stop pushing because you aren't giving them anything to grab onto.
That requires a lot of confidence, though. You have to be comfortable with a little bit of awkwardness.
It does. But remember, they are the ones making it awkward by not respecting your first answer.
That is a powerful reframing. They made it awkward, not you.
There is a phrase I love for this moment. It is, kindness needs a line.
Kindness needs a line. What does that mean to you?
It means that being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. You can be a kind person and still have a line that people cannot cross. In fact, you have to have a line.
Because if you don't, you burn out, and a burnt-out person isn't very kind.
Exactly. When I am exhausted and resentful because I said yes to everything, I am a terrible friend. I am grumpy, I am checking my watch, I am not present.
Wow. So saying no is actually a way of protecting your future yes.
Yes. When you say no to the things you don't want to do, you save your energy for the things you do love.
That connects back to what we talked about in our last big topic about loving yourself. Setting a boundary is basically saying, I value myself enough to protect my time.
It is self-respect in action. It isn't just a theory. Every time you use one of these scripts, I am at capacity, I can't make it, you are casting a vote for your own mental health.
And you are teaching people how to treat you. That is the other thing. If you always say yes, people learn that your time is free.
But if you say no politely and firmly, people learn that your time is valuable. And strangely enough, they respect you more.
It is true. The most respected people in my office are the ones who have clear boundaries, not the ones who are running around trying to please everyone.
So let's do a quick calm word tour to lock in these new phrases before we go.
I love this part. Let's review the toolkit.
First, for work, we have at capacity.
I would love to help, but I am at capacity right now. Use this instead of I am busy.
Then we have bandwidth.
I don't have the bandwidth for that this week. Use this when your brain is full.
For social situations, we have the rain check.
Can I take a rain check? Use this to reschedule without being rude.
And for a polite refusal, I can't make it.
Thanks for asking, but I can't make it. Use this to say no without giving a reason.
And finally, the technique for pushy people, the broken record.
Just repeat your boundary calmly until they stop.
Now we have a challenge for you, a small one.
We want you to look at your week ahead. Is there one thing, just one small thing that you are dreading? Maybe a meeting you don't need to be at or a favor you don't want to do?
We want you to say no to it. Use one of these scripts.
It will feel scary for about 5 seconds.
And then it will feel like freedom.
We want to hear about it in the comments. We have a question for you to practice.
The question is, what is one thing you need to say no to this week?
And try to use the grammar. I would love to, but I am at capacity.
For example, I would love to cook dinner tonight, but I am at capacity.
I am definitely using that one on my wife tonight. We are getting takeout.
Good luck with that, Dan.
Thanks, Alice.
Remember, every time you practice this, it gets easier. Your voice deserves to be heard, and your time deserves to be protected.
You've got this.
Thanks for listening to Chat English. We will see you in the next conversation.
Bye.